It's Monday, and Beyond the Gates was back with another pretty solid episode. I feel like one thing Beyond the Gates has done really well every week is start the weeks off strong. I feel like Monday and Tuesday episodes are always pretty solid. No different here today, although there is the one storyline that not feeling. Talked about it last week. We'll get to it again here in a bit. We got to start, of course, with the Dani stuff. Usually the main drama of any episode that she's in. On Friday, the cliffhanger was her getting the security guard to let her into Bill and Hayley's house and then drinking their champagne and getting drunk and passing out. The drunken Dani woke up in this episode. And luckily for her, Bill and Hayley were stuck in traffic on their way back from their honeymoon, getting back early, which Bill kept apologizing to Hayley for because of business. Then Dani called her friend Pamela, which is Katie McLean's character, to kind of help her fix the situation, to get the same champagne, to help her with the picture frame she busted. And Pamela came through, or so we thought. Like, she came through with items and they tried to fix the place up well. But when Bill and Hayley got back, Bill noticed that the alarm wasn't on. Hayley noticed that their photo was in a different place. They noticed the champagne too. Put two and two together and were pretty sure that crazy old Dani had broken into their house. And Hayley is starting to reach her breaking point. She's tried to be lenient with Dani. She was the one that let Dani go last week when Bill was trying to press charges. She convinced Bill not to. This time Hayley wanted to confront Dani. So Hayley went to Dani's house, broke one of her picture frames of one of Dani's modeling cover shoots from back in the day, and actually gave it to Dani today. I thought Hayley ate Dani up in their confrontation. I liked when she said something to the effect of, "You broke in my house, bitch," or "You were in my house, bitch." I thought it was a good confrontation. But this is the conundrum with these two's rivalries. And it's a good conundrum. It's hard for me to want to root for Hayley because in the end, she still is the homewrecker. And she could go on and on about Dani breaking into her home, but when Hayley was in Dani's home, she had an affair with Dani's husband and was the home wrecker. She literally wrecked their marriage and their home. She is the home wrecker. So for Dani to then go, I guess Dani is the one that literally tried to wreck Hayley's home. I thought this was a good writing, and I like Hayley sticking up for herself. I think it adds to the rivalry, and I think it's been needed. She's kind of been a pushover these first 3 weeks of the show. But today she had fire, and she ate Dani up. But it's hard for me to be completely on her side because, like I said, she is the initial problem. And she tried to say today that Dani is the villain, the one that broke into her house, tried to destroy her things, has been doing all these crazy things to her and Bill. And yeah, as I've said all along, Dani is a villain too. Both Dani and Hayley have been pretty great characters. Bill too. They all kind of lean villain. I feel like the writing has tried to make Hayley the least villainous of the three. So am I team Dani? Am I team Hayley? I don't think I'm team either. I'm team mess. So I like this rivalry to continue, especially if Hayley's going to be a spitfire like she was today. I think that adds to it nicely. Let's circle back to Pamela real quick. This is a rewrite from the show. Katie McLean has talked about her being added late, and they've done some rewrites. They did some reshooting of scenes to introduce her. That's why she, up until now, had only been in a couple scenes in 2 different episodes. And it seemed like initially the show was making Dani and Vanessa best friends, which I like them together. But now the show's saying that Vanessa and Nicole are supposed to be best friends, but we've barely seen them together. And I don't know how I feel about those two being best friends. I don't think it clicks as much as Vanessa and Dani. And I don't know if I think Pamela and Dani click as much as Vanessa and Dani clicks. So I don't like the rewrite. I think that is wrong. I think they got it wrong. I think Pamela and Nicole would make better friends, and Vanessa and Dani do make good friends because they're both so messy. Not that I dislike Pamela and Dani's friendship. Pamela is always helping Dani out. That seems to be the writing for her. Katie McLean's been kind of over the top thus far. She's a good actress, though. Obviously, she's iconic as Dixie and All My Children. I loved her at most on As the World Turns as Rosanna. I think she played Rosanna. It's been a long time. But I was more of a As the World Turns person than a All My Children person. She's also was a recast for Jennifer on Days in recent years. Didn't love that altogether. But hopefully she'll continue to grow into this role, and I think she will. It's just going to take a little time. She's been doing an accent thing that I haven't been liking, and just being over the top in general. But hopefully she'll grow on me more, because I do like her as an actress. And then Dani calls Andre again. And earlier in the episode, like at the end of Friday's episode, Andre tried to kiss Ashley, and Ashley pulled back, was shocked by it, she was disgusted almost because she has a boyfriend. Andre apologized, and then Derek and Ashley made up and kissed all episode, and they acted like they're in a good spot in their relationship. And Ashley seemed to really want to get laid that night, but I don't know. They kissed a lot. Maybe they're an okay couple, sure. But they're boring, and that's like the worst thing to happen on any TV show. Not even just soap operas. Any TV show, if you're too boring, it's not good. So Derek and Ashley are boring, and Andre added to it as a triangle is also boring. Like I said last week, not working for me. Still not working for me today. I didn't fast forward, though, and since there's only 3 episodes this week, I'm going to try not to fast forward the Andre, Ashley, Derek stuff, but it is the worst thing on the show. As for Dani and Andre, they always come together when their lives aren't going so good. When Andre's pining after Ashley, he went to Nicole and kind of got a shrink session with his aunt about Ashley, and where he doesn't know where his urge to be with Ashley is coming from because he has known her for quite a while. As I've been saying, and I would talk to somebody in the comments last week, I'll see if I could find it real quick, that it would be more interesting if Andre is just a kind of a creeper or a stalker. It would at least add some drama to the story, some stakes. But I don't know if we're going to actually see that. I believe it was Kiki in the comments who I was talking about that with. Shout out to Kiki, who was agreeing with me that would be a more interesting take for Andre. As for Andre and Dani, I don't know if I like where they keep going with that. Like, I understand it, and it's very realistic. So that is the part that I like about it most, is that when their lives are going poorly, when Dani's life is falling apart because of her, usually, and when Andre can't get the girl he actually wants, which is against his nature, they turn to each other and kind of, fuck to make those bad feelings go away. They use each other, and a lot of people do that in real life. So it's very realistic. However, I'm going to need the episodes to stop ending with them. It's not a good cliffhanger to an end of an episode. We've seen it like 3, if not 4 times now. I think just 3. But yeah, it's getting repetitive already in just 3 weeks, going into the 4th week, where we end an episode with Andre and Dani hooking up, using each other because their lives aren't going the way they want them to. Like, it could keep happening. I'm fine with it because it is realistic. But let's end the episode with something else, with something a little more interesting, because now that is redundant. Also, in this episode, we got Eva and Nicole talking about Sherry Carter. Last time we saw Eva, she was getting her mother fired as Sherry at Nicole's awards ceremony. And Nicole wants Eva to find Sherry. But when Ted heard them talking, he tried to talk Nicole out of finding Sherry, to forget about that. And Eva was listening into those two having a conversation. By the end of the episode, Ted told Eva that Nicole doesn't want her to find Sherry anymore. And I think Eva seems content with that. At first, I thought it was maybe going to prove to Eva that what her mother had been telling her about Ted being not trustworthy would be the case here, and maybe Eva would want to go along with Dana / Leslie / Sherry's plans. But by the end of the episode, Eva was ignoring a phone call from her mother, so I think the disagreement between mother and child is continuing there, which adds a very good dynamic to that story, because I love both Leslie and Eva. I think they're both great characters by themselves. I think obviously Leslie is a great psycho, and Eva, just the actress, has been doing really good. Let me find the actress's name real quick. Amber Michelle, she's killing it. She makes you feel for Eva. She's very entertaining as Eva. Eva's coming across as a very layered character, which only so many characters so far have been layered. I feel like the show overall is very plot heavy. Only certain characters are getting character development, but Eva's definitely one of them. You root for her to find a family. Her mother is clearly crazy and only thinking about revenge, whereas Eva's thinking about actually wanting to find her father and be a family with someone. She wants a family. And right now her and her mother are disagreeing on that, and it's going to cause for some good tension down the line. Last, we got to talk about Smitty and Martin and their kids. I really enjoy them as a family. I think this is when Martin is actually coming across as a good character, is when he's with the family. One, because recent years of soap operas don't do a good job with family time. But also the fact that it's a gay couple with kids and we get to see them be a family. We just don't see this on American soap operas, literally ever. So it's very different. But it's also a callback to old days when we actually got to see soap opera families seem like families. Samantha and Tyrell came home, and there was obviously something bothering Tyrell, which Smitty noticed and wanted he and Martin to figure out what it was. But when they talked to the kids, Samantha was griping about getting asked out on a date, but they don't let her date, which is another interesting thing about this family. The way they depict the gay couple as very conservative and very old-fashioned. It's an interesting route for them to go down with them. But also, Martin, still being the douche that he is, when they ask Tyrell what is actually bothering him, Tyrell says calculus. He's struggling with calculus. And Martin just takes that at face value, but Smitty is pretty certain that it's something else that's bothering Tyrell. I loved everything about this. Like I said, the family stuff, but I like that we're starting to get a storyline with the youngest people on the cast, which are Samantha and Tyrell. I love a good teen storylines on soaps. It's another staple of the genre that, when it's done right, is really good. So hopefully by the summertime we got the teens in a good story. We don't know what's actually bothering Tyrell, and Samantha seems boy crazy, but her parents won't let her date because they are so conservative, and Martin's a politician, and they all have to play face for everyone. But yeah, it was a good episode. We got character development. We always get it from Eva. And Nicole comes across as a very sweet character. She's been on every episode. The only character on every episode is Nicole, which is a feat. And I don't dislike that. I think Nicole is being shown as the... I don't want to say heart, because I don't see her as a heart. But she's kind of like the the light of the show. She is the guiding light of the show right now, where she is kind of the good character that actually cares about people. But we also got development out of Martin, Smitty, and their kids. Hayley got to finally stick up to Dani. Very solid Monday episode, which is the usual case for this show.